Good morning, everyone. Today I'd like to discuss collaboration in the mining industry by way of a few specific examples of recent collaborations. While these initiatives have been led by people in Australia, they're global in scope. The mining industry in Australia is very mature. The key players have been in operations for over 100 years and have been very successful in research for new applications in areas such as exploration, mining, and mineral processing. There's been a long history of collaboration between mining companies, research institutions, and suppliers of mining equipment and technology. This includes the formation of industry-led research brokers, such as the Australian Minerals Industry Research Association, or AMIRA, in 1959, and the Australian Coal Association Research Program, or ACARP, in 1992. More recently, we have seen the formation of several cooperative research centres, or CRCs, where universities and other public research organisations such as CSIRO form joint ventures to conduct research into specific parts of the mining value chain and sponsored by mining companies and their suppliers. Let's look at some of the trends that are driving change in the mining industry. These change drivers can be divided into either value drivers or business challenges. To take an example of each, the biggest value driver is the price the miners get for their product, and since 2003, demand in China and other developing countries has resulted in both higher prices and greater volatility. You can see in this graph of the IMF Commodity Metals Price Index that we had this declining boom and bust cycle in the 1990s that turned into a big boom, sometimes called the China boom, that ended with a global financial crisis and bounced back very quickly, and mining probably bounced back faster than any other industry, but turned around again in 2013 and has been in decline since then and only recently bouncing back. The boom and bust cycle in mining, as with oil and gas, has a disruptive effect on any transformational change initiatives, as companies move from periods of rapid expansion, where innovation is seen as a risk to the schedule, to periods of rapid contraction, where innovation is seen as a discretionary cost. Mining companies are also facing significant multiple challenges that mean there are no simple solutions and that progress will no longer be through the heroic efforts of the few. One of the biggest challenges faced by miners is that ore deposits ain't what they used to be. New deposits are harder to find, ore is deeper or in less convenient geographies, and ore grades are getting lower and more complex to process. This particular graph shows the declining ore grades from 1840 through to the 2000s, where you see a clear decreasing grade trend across multiple commodities. This combination of increasing challenges and a boom and bust cycle does make it kind of interesting to get innovation happening. But nevertheless, there's an imperative for the mining industry to make systemic changes, and this will require collaborative innovation. We also have digital technology as a disruptive enabler. There is a number of digital trends happening that are impacting every industry. This includes cloud technology and big data at the back end. We have in the field smart devices and intelligent sensors collecting more and more data. We have new methods of analysing that data with advanced analytics and artificial intelligence, and new ways of connecting people and groups together. These are all joined by much better advanced communications such as fibre optics and broadband wireless. These are all happening together at such a rate that it's pretty hard to keep up, but every industry is being impacted and mining is no different. These drivers for change are indeed leading to transformational innovation. This happens at the intersection between the business imperatives for change and the technology enablers. At the heart of this transformation are basically connected systems and processes. In order to make that work, you need interoperability. This is becoming a major barrier for mining companies because they will resist any new innovation if it's difficult to incorporate the new system into the existing working environment, and the working environment being people and process. So for ready adoption, any new solution needs to be interoperable with the existing technology and information environment, all stitched together by an enabling culture of leadership, collaboration, commitment, and discipline. So what is interoperability? To use a modified European Commission definition, it's the ability of information and communication technology, ICT systems, and operational technology, OT systems, and the business processes they support to exchange data, to enable the sharing of information as well as the transferring of control. This in turn provides the ability of systems and organisations to seamlessly work together, i.e. interoperate. Now, the major drivers for interoperability in mining are basically some of the major mining transformation initiatives, including end-to-end process integration, remote operations, multi-vendor equipment automation. It's also core to the need to improve the collection, collation and synthesis of an increasing volume and variety of field data, including the analytics to enable improved operational decision making. So, open interoperability, it's only going to be solved by multi-sector collaboration. This is not only different types of miners getting together on a global basis, interacting with their key suppliers, technology and equipment suppliers of all different sorts, as well as federal and state governments in various jurisdictions, as well as research entities and the brokers. These all need to work together in a way in order to improve the whole situation and develop the standards and guidelines and frameworks that are going to make open interoperability work. In order to address the issue of interoperability in mining, in 2015, Amara International hired me to conduct a review of the interoperability landscape across the industry. The focus area chosen was interoperability for open-cut mobile mining equipment, as this was the area of highest priority for the mining sponsors, who were BHP, Rio Tinto, MMG and Roy Hill. Since this project, there have been several new or continuing initiatives on the same topic. I will focus on just the Amara P1025 and the Emerts projects as examples of close collaboration between different players in the industry. It's worth noting that all of these initiatives are independently run with only a limited degree of cross-collaboration. In the mining industry, even the interoperability projects don't interoperate. We are, however, getting better over time. Amara International began as the Australian Minerals Industry Research Association in 1959 and has since gone international with a large number of member companies, both mining and suppliers. There are brokerages that contract research organisations to conduct the actual research. As part of the Amara P1025 project, we investigated a number of related initiatives to determine leading practice in collaboration that were all aimed at industry-wide interoperability. Those we found most relevant were the Open Spirit Alliance, which was formed in the 1990s by a group of oil companies and their suppliers to develop a platform still in use today for data exchange between technical systems. There was also the Car-to-Car Communication Consortium, which was formed in Europe by a group of automotive companies with separate membership for suppliers and development partners for the development of cooperative intelligent transportation systems. And the best example in mining was the Emerts Vehicle Interaction Initiative. Emerts stands for Earth Moving Equipment Safety Roundtable, and they had a project for developing design criteria and protocols for equipment and technology suppliers to develop interoperable proximity detection systems. This project builds on a series of ACARP and CSIRO projects for developing standards for coal mining longwall automation and proximity awareness. So this was a slide I presented to the Amara sponsors as an example of how the knowledge has developed within this group of mining companies that started out as a series of longwall automation projects. And the longwall is that large machine that shaves coal in underground coal mines. And from that, they developed a series of interoperability standards that led to another project around proximity awareness and system interface protocols. Now, the knowledge built by this team of mining companies and their researcher, CSIRO, basically has built up an approach on how to develop these sorts of standards. And this got used at a later time by the Emerts group for developing their vehicle interaction projects. The Earth Moving Equipment Safety Roundtable is a mining industry body set up in 2006 to provide a consistent view of industry requirements for improved safety of mining equipment. They have many successful projects that have helped the equipment OEMs to design better equipment, such as stairways instead of ladders for large trucks. Their approach is to focus on the principles of good design and to develop the resulting protocols. Basically, they see standards as really the chock on the wheel to stop you going backwards but to actually make progress needs a lot of work from a lot of people to pull the big wheel up the hill. Their operating model is very thin, with a laser focus on tangible outcomes and active involvement of mining company members. And they have a particular operating model and involves a strategic group, an advisory group, and specific project groups, as well as a secretariat. So who's involved in the MIRTs and what are their projects? While there are only half a dozen permanent members, the specific initiatives can ramp up to many more. In 2014, they began the Vehicle Interaction Initiative to develop better systems for avoiding unwanted interactions involving earth-moving equipment, such as collisions. This project has 9 mining members, 9 OEMs, 3 research organisations, 17 technology vendors, and several government regulators as active contributors, with many more involved in the various workshops. Since 2014, the MIRTs have been driving the Vehicle Interaction Initiative to the point of developing a shared understanding of the problems to be addressed, which has led to a set of requirements that technology vendors, that is the proximity detection suppliers, can use to design better systems and for the mining companies to be able to select the best systems for their purposes. They have developed interoperability protocols and interfacing standards, eventually leading to an ISO effort to define a global standard. This work is continuing. This is all about avoiding serious accidents, with an auditable assurance approach that allows regulators to address this in a consistent manner. There's been a lot of work by the mining company members to define the types of vehicle interactions and collecting incident statistics to help focus on the areas of greatest need. This vehicle interaction control model covers both equipment design and operation. In the highest levels, 7 to 9, it's aimed at avoiding unwanted situations. These levels define the stack of systems aimed at operator awareness, first at level 7, then detection and alarms at level 8, and then when all else fails, the machine intervenes with a collision avoidance system. So what's next? The MIRTS has joined forces with the International Council on Mining and Metals, the ICMM, to extend this work to a broader initiative aimed at innovation for cleaner, safer vehicles. One of the primary goals is to have collision avoidance technology installed on all mining equipment by 2025. There is also a collaboration between the Corfu Interop program in Chile and the Global Mining Guidelines Group, headquartered in Toronto, for joining forces to promote open interoperability standards for mining systems and equipment. This brings together 2 separate initiatives with 2 very different business models. Amara are also proposing a new initiative to bring the mining industry to the Open Process Automation Forum, which has been championed by ExxonMobil on behalf of the process industries, including oil and gas, chemicals and pharmaceuticals. This new initiative aims to leverage the expansion of a test lab at the University of Western Australia with a focus on the key components of the optimised interoperable mine. In all these initiatives, collaboration is seen as the pathway to increase maturity of operations, helping lift the mining industry from the lowest level to levels already attained by other industries. As you can see, there's a strong history of collaboration in the mining industry, although on the topic of interoperability, we've only just begun. We're working from a very low base, but in the future, we expect the degree of collaboration to increase, leading to increased success, which in turn encourages more collaboration. While the Amara P1025 project helped light the fires under several global initiatives, the MIRTS Vehicle Interaction Initiative has really set the standard for the rest of the industry. Thanks for your time. Bye.